yeah. Huh. I be feeling like the man in the G-Wagon, flipping through these bands like a P. I be half streets cold, keep my hand in the fleece. Getting chicken, keep my hand in the grease. What it is, everybody? I want you to make your next move your best move and get involved with me, Cryptic AI. Huh? Yeah, that part. Today, we're going to be discussing Bitcoin. We're going to be discussing financials in a way that no other channel discusses financials. We're going to be getting to the nitty and gritty of everything and what's going on, what to be expected, and how you can make a move during these times. I'm talking about a beneficial move. Listen, we are going to start opening up these Cryptic AI episodes with some mess. I'm talking about something that's going to get y'all like sitting back in y'all seats. This first one, this is the first episode where we're doing this. This is actually, you know what? I create these shows and I don't put them in the chronological order that I say I'm gonna put them in. I say that this is episode 15, and then I make it episode 22. See what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna say what episode this is because I don't know what episode it's gonna be, but it is a episode, and that's what matters the most. This first piece of mess comes from what is actually going on in the government with the government shutdown. It comes from let's talk about this cannabis and what's the future of cannabis when it comes to the government shutdown. So that's gonna lead up to this video that I'm gonna show and share with y'all. Let's see. So today we're gonna be using the Samsung Z Fold, and in light of that, we use the AI Gemini. So let us get into it. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. Let me turn my screen reader off. For those of you who don't know, I am legally blind, and so I do utilize accessibility settings on my devices. And so you know, how great of a mind than a blind mind? You know what I'm talking about? What mind is greater than a blind mind? But let's open up Gemini. Oh.
Hello. How can I help you today?
Oh. What's up, Jimmy?
Not much. Just chilling, ready to help you with whatever you need. What's on your mind?
All right, so I want to ask about the government shutdown and what type of moves were made in order for the shutdown to be open. What laws, what codes, what deals were made in order for, or were agreed upon, voted upon, in order for the government to be open?
So, the deal to end the shutdown involved a few key parts. Essentially, some agencies were funded for the rest of the fiscal year, while others received funding temporarily until January 30th. The agreement also included provisions to reinstate federal employees who were furloughed and to prevent further layoffs. Was there anything specific you wanted to know about the deal?
What was the reason for the shutdown? What was not agreed upon for the government to be shut down?
The shutdown was mainly caused by disagreements over federal funding.
Federal funding to who?
So, federal funding goes to a lot of different areas. It supports state and local governments for things like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. It also pays for federal agencies, social programs, and more. Did you have a
What
specific
infrastructure was Trump pushing to all 50 states? What sort of infrastructure was being pushed to all 50 states by Trump's administration?
The Trump administration proposed an infrastructure plan that aimed to encourage private investment in projects. Their focus was on rebuilding roads, bridges, airports, and other vital transportation systems. They also proposed investing in rural infrastructure. Would you like to know more about the specifics of their plan?
All right, I just want to debunk this thing that's going around. And what about the implications that Trump wants all states to comply with building uh, these camps to hold illegal aliens?
It's true that former President Trump has indicated his intention to increase immigration enforcement and said he would direct officials to get facilities ready to receive immigrants in the U.S. illegally. Some sources suggest these facilities might include expanding existing immigrant detention centers and potentially using military bases for that purpose, but the details are unclear, and there haven't been any specific laws requiring all states to build camps. Are there any particular aspects of this
No, no,
plan
no, no,
you'd
no,
like
no.
to?
But I want to point out something you said. Why did you say former President Trump?
Explore further?
Why did you say former President Trump?
My mistake. I don't have the most up to date information about current events and may have referred to him incorrectly. Thank you for clarifying. Is there anything else
I
I
didn't
can help you
clarify
with?
anything. I'm only asking the question. You clarified it for me. What are you saying? Is he not the president anymore secretly?
My apologies for the confusion. Donald Trump is indeed the current president of the United States.
Oh,
Is
okay,
there
okay.
anything
We just
else?
wanted to nip that in the bud because we caught that. We caught that. My audience ain't no fools. Okay, play me once, shame on you. Play me twice, put the blame on you. Play me three times, fuck the peace sign, low chop, let it rain on you. Time about it. Hey, so we want to ask about specifically cannabis when it comes to the government shutdown. What new changes were made in cannabis during the reopening for there to be a reopening in the government in the light of the reopening of the government?
Okay. So, the recent government shutdown actually came with some pretty significant changes related to cannabis,
Mm-hmm.
specifically hemp derived THC products. The new law greatly narrows the definition of lawful hemp, meaning many products that were previously legal, like Delta 8 and Delta 10, will become illegal again in about a year. It also puts restrictions on total THC limits and cannabinoids synthesized from hemp. Did you want to know more about the specifics of the new law?
Yeah, go dive a little bit deeper. And what does that mean for the people and them being able to smoke? What does that mean for the cannabis shops that are open? What does that mean for the cannabis lounges that are said to that were just approved?
Okay, so for hemp derived THC products like Delta 8, the new law makes things much more restrictive, and they will likely become illegal in most states. For consumers, this could mean a lot less access to these products, and the shops that currently carry them will have to stop. As for cannabis lounges, it's a bit different. The new law allows retailers with on site consumption to offer freshly prepared food and host live events, which could boost their business. Are there any particular aspects of these changes you'd like to know more about?
So the cannabis lounges that were just approved, what troubles will they face during this when these policies go into effect in a year by next year regarding cannabis and I forget the names of the something 10 and whatever you said, but what can these cannabis lounges expect? Will they be shut down? Will this law to that allows cannabis lounges to be open, will that be reversed? Hmm. Will the laws that allow cannabis lounges to be open be reversed?
That's a great question. Laws surrounding cannabis can change quickly, And whether those allowing cannabis lounges to operate will be reversed can depend on various factors like election results or public opinion. Is there a
Well,
specific
I wanted to compare. I wanted to put that in contrast with the government shutdown and the laws that changed about cannabis currently.
You're right to point that out. The recent government shutdown had a significant impact on cannabis laws, creating a contrast with the more lenient direction many states have been going. Essentially, the deal to reopen the government included language that will restrict many hemp derived THC products that were previously legal, which could be a major reversal for consumers and businesses in those states. Would you like to delve into which specific
Nah,
products
nah,
will be?
nah, 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 nah. What I'd like to delve in is this. So, y'all got it here first. I don't think any other investment channels are talking about what's going on with the hemp, what's going on with the federal government, and who they are actually attacking. Y'all see when I opened up the conversation to Gemini about what who was going to be affected by the government shutdown and the reopening of it when it comes to allocating funds to these different organizations. They gave a very broad answer. We narrowed it down, got into the cannabis sector, and actually seeing what is happening there. With that being said, anybody who is invested in any cannabis companies in the stock market, you have to reconsider where you are going to, when you're going to take your money out of those companies, and where you're going to reposition it. And so, Gemini,
Affected?
Jimmy.
Could you please clarify
So
what you would like to
can you please give four major companies, cannabis companies listed on the stock market?
Four major cannabis companies listed on the stock market are
Yes.
Curaleaf. Sure. Which one would you like to learn more
Oh,
about?
go ahead. What are four companies?
Sure thing. The four cannabis companies I mentioned earlier are Curaleaf, Green Thumb Industries, Tilray, and True Leaf Cannabis. Is there anything else I can tell you about these companies?
Yeah, what could that mean for these companies? What does these new laws put into play that's going to be banning cannabis products? What does that mean for these companies? Are they still going to be able to sell products, or what do these changes mean for these companies?
For these companies, the impact could be mixed. On one hand, the new laws around hemp derived THC products could limit their offerings or require them to reformulate. On the other hand, these changes could potentially strengthen the market for state regulated cannabis where these companies are major players. Would you like to know more about how Curaleaf, Green Thumb Industries, Tilray, and Trulieve are responding to these changes?
Sure, and how could it strengthen the market?
When the federal definition of hemp is narrowed, it creates a clearer distinction between hemp derived products and regulated marijuana. This could benefit state regulated cannabis markets by reducing competition from less regulated hemp options. It also ensures that businesses following strict regulations aren't at a disadvantage. Would you like to know more about how these regulations compare?
So they're not banning uh they're not banning hemp products. They're just tightening up on regulations.
That's a fair point. While the new law does tighten regulations, it could be seen as a form of de facto ban on many popular hemp derived THC products because the new limits and restrictions will make it very difficult for many products to remain legal. Is there anything specific you'd like to discuss about the impact of these new
So how will
regulations?
it make many of the products to become illegal? In what way is it? Is it to the THC percentages that are in the products that are going to be changed? What about the products are going to be changed to where other companies aren't going to be able to keep up and remain uh, remain having remain a business in the market.
The new law changes the definition of hemp, making it much more strict than the 2018 Farm Bill. Previously, hemp was legal if it contained less than 0.3% Delta 9 THC. The new law now combines Delta 9 with other intoxicating cannabinoids like Delta 8 and THCA and sets a total THC limit of 0.4 milligrams per container.
Oh,
This could make many products currently on the market illegal, impacting hemp farmers, businesses, and
hell
consumers.
nah. So basically, the scientists have developed a method to put the least amount of hemp or THC in the products, which other normal growers like me, or if I was a grower like me, or anybody else out there who doesn't have the laboratories or the capability to research, the capabilities to do to make those THC levels lower than or low as the now legal limit. Um, these people in the government have developed some form or some method to make the THC level so low that the rest of society cannot, it is impossible for them to make the THC levels that low growing it naturally, right?
The new regulations do present challenges for hemp producers. Achieving the very low THC levels mandated by the new law may require advanced techniques and processing capabilities that not all growers possess. It's also possible that new cultivation methods or hemp varieties will be developed to meet these new requirements.
Exactly. So that's what's going on, man. They done developed a new way of growing this weed, and so the new way of growing the weed, they figured out how to reduce the THC levels by the time the product is produced, and man, the weed is just gonna be boo boo. It's gonna be boo boo. This is gonna spike up the underground markets. This is gonna make the illegal weed the best weed. So I don't even know. I ain't even gonna. I ain't even gonna want no legal weed in the future. I ain't even gonna want to smoke on that. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna want to find somebody on the streets. I'm gonna want to find somebody with that 32% THC level, with that 45% THC, with that 70% THC. Yeah. But let's get into this video that I've discovered, and this video is detrimental to what cannabis is going through, or I ain't gonna say it's detrimental to what cannabis is going through, but it's in relations to cannabis. Let's talk about it.
Tech CEO and cannabis entrepreneur Tushar Atra, who was kidnapped and killed in 2019, allegedly made his employees do 500 push-ups for a paycheck.
That's crazy.
In October 2019, Tushar was kidnapped from his home in Santa Cruz and then later found at a property in the mountains, slain.
Because he made y'all do push-ups?
From the Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Office, authorities arrested Joshua Camps, Stephen Lindsay, and brothers Curtis and Caleb Charters in connection with the murder.
Oh, damn.
Now here's where things get kind of nuts. So Caleb's trial started earlier this month. CBS reports that Caleb and Lindsay once had to work on the farm for 10 days from dawn to dusk for $200 a day. Caleb told the jury that
That's decent.
Lindsay had been humiliated after Tushar screamed at them for wasting his time after they briefly lost the keys to one of the farm's trucks.
Oh yeah, I would have yelled at him too.
That Tushar said he was going to stop their checks. KRON4 reports that Caleb says Tushar made him do push-ups, around 500 push-ups for $1,400 to get their checks, which, if you remember, they're working for $200 a day for 10 days, so this is like $600 less than they were promised. Other witnesses corroborated information about the push-ups too. Tushar's former assistant and another anonymous witness both say that he created a hostile and toxic work environment. We will keep you updated if we learn anything else.
Hey, Tushar got this bald head. You know what I'm talking about? He got the glazed eyes. Like, you could tell he lit in his picture. You know what I'm talking about? But I know they didn't kill that man just for him making them do push-ups, but I guess they said it's because of humiliation. Like, you humiliated me. These dudes was gangsters. I ain't gonna lie. These dudes was straight gangsters. You know what I'm talking about? I'm from Oak Park, California, man, and I ain't seen nothing like that happen right there. Nah, these dudes was gangsters. They was next level. They took the dude from his home, took him up to the mountains, and they probably made him do 500 push-ups. You know what I'm talking about? Do these 500s or you gonna get blah, blah, blah. But ain't no telling what Jack told Helen. But that's crazy though. I've never heard of that story. If anybody heard of that story, you got any comments on it, please comment down in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. Let me know what your thoughts are on cannabis overall. I think we spent a lot of time on that topic. That was unintended. We were supposed to spend a brief second on there, but that's good. It was very informative. Hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you heard something that'll make you want to go do your own research and dig something new up out of that. And if you do, comment below. Let me know something. Tell me something. Correct me, whatever. I love the criticism, as long as it's constructive and not destructive. All right, so let's get into Bitcoin right now. And so we know that Bitcoin has been dipping. I'm talking about getting low. I'm talking about dropping low. You know what I'm talking about? Let's see what it's currently at. We're gonna see what that. Oh. 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 Okay, hold on. Uh-oh. Okay. All right, here we go. Oh. 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 All right, so we're going to get back in the conversation with Gemini. Gemini, what is the current price of Bitcoin?
Right now, Bitcoin is priced at around $96,800.
So
Are you interested in
96,000. And when I checked it this morning, it was at 95,000. So, and then when I looked 2 days ago, it was at 100,000 just over the weekend, or about 2 to 3, 4 days ago. But Bitcoin is doing something unexpected. I mean, it's dipping very low. Nobody thought that Bitcoin would get this low. Everybody thought that during October, there was going to be a spike in Bitcoin. And if you go back on my show, my very first episode, I even said, I think that this is the last month for you to be able to invest. But that was due to the cycle. The cycle is broken. You know what I mean? And so what was expected is no longer expected. And so we have to go back to the drawing board, assess what has been going on, and move off of that. We know that Bitcoin is still the most, we know that Bitcoin is the major player in the game. Okay, Bitcoin has the most value out of all cryptocurrencies currently. Ethereum second at 3,000 something. What is the current price of Ethereum? Okay. Gemini likes to try to keep up with the conversation out of everything that I'm saying. What is the current price of Ethereum? Oops. That was my bad right there. That was my bad. Let me jump back into. Okay. What is the current price of Ethereum?
As of right now, Ethereum is priced at around $3,207. It's been having a bit of a pullback recently. Is there anything else you'd like to know about the crypto market?
Okay. So we look at the price of Ethereum, we look at the price of Bitcoin, and usually, you would say, I want to buy the dip. We got to buy the dip. But these are concerning prices. These are concerning lows. And so we really don't know where the market is headed. We really don't know what's going on. What we do know is that the government is playing a major role in what is going on. The government is playing a major role. And so, how many countries do you think are going to adopt Bitcoin? Is BRICS going to adopt Bitcoin? We looked at a clip earlier. Well, I looked at a clip earlier that where Vladimir Putin spoke up and said that Bitcoin will never fall. You know, there's nothing that anybody can do to make Bitcoin fall. Nothing that these major that the United States or any one country can do to make Bitcoin fall. And so Vladimir Putin be talking that talk. You know, he be speaking the real. You know, he's not afraid to speak up. Who's gonna slap him in the face if he says something, you know, that somebody doesn't agree with? I like to compare Vladimir Putin to Charleston White. Charleston White gonna say whatever it is he wants to say, and it's gonna be real. It's gonna be real, and it's gonna touch home, and it's gonna come to fruition. So, with that being said, there is some hope in Bitcoin. We just gotta kind of draw back and zoom out and see what the overall move is of Bitcoin. We got to just look at what's going on in the government, what's going on in these societies, what's going on around the world that's causing Bitcoin's price to be this low. And so that's kind of what we're going to get in today. Hopefully I can find something. Hopefully I can ask the correct questions to get us the right answers that we so dearly need for our own personal feelings, for our own personal knowledge, for our own personal question of what to do. So let's get into it. So I believe the first proper question that we're going to ask the Gemini is, one second. Okay. So what effect does the government shutdown have on Bitcoin's low price? What do critics say?
Shutdowns can have. Credit cards typically have an expiration date about 3 to 4 years after they're issued. Are you looking for more information on credit cards?
What do critics say about the Bitcoin market and why it is low in comparison to the government shutdown?
Critics of the Bitcoin market suggest that its low price compared to the government shutdown could be due to a few factors. Some point out that delayed economic data from the shutdown has created monetary policy uncertainty, leading to increased volatility in risk assets like Bitcoin. Others mention a rotation into safer assets like gold, which has been performing well, drawing hedging demand away from Bitcoin and undermining its narrative as a reliable store of value. Would you like to know more about these views?
No. I would like to discuss the government shutdown, and I would like to discuss a coming recession. What is the conversation around a recession in the United States today?
The conversation around a recession in the United States today is pretty mixed. Some analysts see signs of stability in the U.S. economy, pointing to various measures that don't suggest we're currently in a recession. However, others are more cautious, noting that the recent government shutdown has created uncertainty, which could have lingering effects. Some financial experts even suggest preparing for a recession within the next 12 months due to various unofficial indicators. Is there anything specific you'd like to know about the potential recession?
Yeah, what exactly is causing the recession? What exactly are critics saying that the reasons for a recession is?
There are various viewpoints surrounding the possibility of a recession in the United States. Some analysts forecast a period of subpar growth, citing factors like trade tensions and the recent government shutdown as potential concerns. They believe the economy might experience slower activity over time. On the other hand, some economists feel that the current economic conditions suggest stability, and they don't foresee a recession in the near future. Are you interested in hearing more about the specific factors contributing to these differing
Well, I don't
viewpoints?
know how they see stability when we have major companies like Walmart, Amazon going on hiring freezes. What companies besides them are going on hiring freezes? And name a few small businesses that people may not have heard about.
That's a valid point. Besides Walmart and Amazon, other large companies across various industries have announced similar hiring freezes. For example, some tech companies and financial institutions have also pulled back on hiring. Would you like to know which specific companies?
I
have
would like
announced
to know what
hiring?
specific companies.
Some other companies that have announced hiring freezes or layoffs include Intel, Microsoft, IBM, UPS, and International Paper. Would you like to know more about the
I'd like to
reasons
know
behind
some
these
small
freezes?
businesses who have hiring freezes. Give me the names of those businesses.
It's harder to track specific small businesses with hiring freezes since they don't typically announce those decisions publicly like larger companies do. However, reports indicate that many small businesses are currently pausing or slowing their hiring efforts due to economic uncertainty and higher costs. It's happening across various industries. Is there a particular type
And
of
so
small
that's what we're
business?
going to stain your memories with, is that the fact that we have these hiring freezes, we have these layoffs that are not being spoken of. I just watched a channel earlier, and shout out to my man's over there at my man Stock Holiday, and his information that he gave on his personal information that he gave, I think about his company and some neighboring companies who he was in talks with that were talking about hiring freezes also, and also layoffs in certain sectors of their companies. Now, if that doesn't speak recession, I don't know what to say to y'all. That definitely is an indicator that these times that we are in currently are producing uncertainty, not only in the markets, but in the job system. We are coming closer to a world that is heavily dependent upon AI, robotics, and so forth when it comes to technology. With that being said, let us move into our next question. How can a recession in the economy affect Bitcoin and the price of it?
A recession could have a few different effects on Bitcoin's price. On one hand, as a speculative asset, Bitcoin might underperform during a recession when people are generally more cautious with their investments. On the other hand, some view Bitcoin as a potential safe haven during economic uncertainty, which could actually boost its price. It really depends on how investors perceive
No, 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 no,
Bitcoin
no,
during
no, 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 no. It's not going to boost the price during the recession. In a recession, let's say people who invested heavily into Bitcoin, thousands, millions, they are now without work. They're going to have to go into the reserves of Bitcoin, their Bitcoin reserves. They're going to have to sell off Bitcoin and utilize those funds to continue living their daily lives. We know that it is hard for the human being to change his habits once it is a habit. And so once someone loses a job, they still possess the same mindset, okay? Which is going to cause them to partake in the exact same spending habits that they had prior to them losing that job. Eating, buying clothes, shoes, and other products. And so they are going to be forced through temptation to go in to their Bitcoin reserves and spend that money.
That temptation could certainly be real for some. When faced with financial pressure, it's understandable that people might turn to their Bitcoin reserves. What are your thoughts on how that potential temptation might impact the market long term?
Well, it's going to cause Bitcoin's price to fall fairly low.
There are a few things that could drive Bitcoin's price down. If people continue to sell off their Bitcoin to cover living costs during a recession, that could push the price down. Also, regulatory changes or security issues in the crypto market could also cause a drop. Are there any specific concerns you have?
Are there
about
any
Bitcoin?
specific regulatory changes that are promised in the future that will draw the prices down of Bitcoin?
There are several regulatory changes being considered that could potentially lower Bitcoin's price. For example, new regulations around crypto exchanges and businesses that handle Bitcoin could increase compliance costs and make it less appealing for some people to invest. Also, governments are looking into ways to tax crypto transactions more effectively, which could also cool demand. Are there any particular regulations you're concerned about?
So, what would be the perfect alternative coin that would not be taxed by the federal government during exchanges by the people?
There isn't really a cryptocurrency that's designed to avoid taxes entirely. The IRS treats cryptocurrencies as property, so exchanges for other cryptos or fiat currency are generally taxable events. However, there are some discussions about potential changes to crypto tax policies, like you mentioned. Are you interested in learning more about those potential changes?
Yes. What are the changes?
Well, starting from January 2025, U.S. crypto exchanges are required to track and report your transactions to the IRS on a new form called 1099-DA. This means the IRS will have a more accurate picture of your crypto activity. Are you interested in how these new reporting rules might impact your specific situation?
Yes, as a person receiving income tax.
If you're receiving income tax refunds, these new reporting rules help the IRS make sure you're paying the right amount of taxes on any crypto gains. It's basically about making sure everything is accounted for. Are you wondering how these rules might affect your specific situation?
So the game is changing. The game is changing, and it's going to be unfair to the beginning investor in cryptocurrencies. The person that started off investing in crypto and Bitcoin 5 years ago, 10 years ago, they're saying to themselves, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. What does my crypto investment and my gains with Bitcoin on Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrencies, does that have to do? What do my winnings have to do with the IRS? What do my winnings have to do with me working, with me paying taxes every month on my check? What does my gains over here have to do with my losses over here that are being supplemented for through income tax? This is wild, you guys. And so we got to take these things into account. You know, put yourself in the shoes, okay? Put yourself in character. We know that when you create a movie and you're playing a part of a character such as Ray Charles, you have to learn about Ray Charles. You have to place yourself in Ray Charles' shoes. You got to develop the emotions that Ray Charles had developed during these times and during these instances and situations that he went through in his life that were depicted in the movie. You have to become Ray Charles and understand how to act as Ray Charles. And so if you want to understand how the normal person invested in Bitcoin is going to act, you have to put yourself into their shoes. You have to get into character. This is game changing, y'all. The recession, let's see. If we go into a recession, when is it said to start and how long is it said to last? And what is said to be the end date?
Economists have differing views on whether a recession is on the horizon. Some forecast a period of slower growth, while others believe the economy will remain stable. The Conference Board's economic outlook indicates a slight dip in the fourth quarter of 2025 due to the government shutdown, but they expect a recovery in early 2026. JP Morgan Research, on the other hand, has reduced the probability of a recession in 2025. Overall, there's no single consensus on the start or length of a potential recession. Would you like to know more about specific economic indicators that economists use to make their forecasts?
Yeah. Not specific, but yeah, I want you to figure it out for me. Go ahead.
Based on what we discussed, there isn't a clear consensus on when a recession might start or how long it might last. The Conference Board suggests a potential dip in the fourth quarter of 2025 with a recovery in early 2026.
Yeah,
while
we said that already. So anyways, we don't even know when this recession will come, how long the recession will last. I just want to put something out there. We've been talking about a recession since like 2 years ago, bruh. Since like 2 years ago, everybody been speculating recession. Oh, we're in a recession, recession. I'm going to say here on Cryptic AI that 2029, 2030 is going to be the year that we come out of a recession. I'm going to say we're going to be in a fluctuating recession. I'm going to say we're going to be in an oscillating recession until 2030, until all the jobs are replaced by AI that are going to be replaced, until all of the infrastructure is done in the cities and the countries that the infrastructure is the tech infrastructure is supposed to be done. And I'm talking about cameras on the roads. I'm talking about driverless features on the road. I'm talking about stoplights, human profiles, where, like in China, you'll have face identifying cameras that will deduct funds from your account for jaywalking, for a ticket for parking in the red zone, and so forth. I think that once the completeness of the technological infrastructure is done, that's when the recession will be done. That's when all of the fluctuating markets, the fluctuation of all the markets will be done. I'm talking about the over fluctuation, oscillation. Okay. Those of you who know about graphs know about oscillation. Okay. Spikes up, spikes down, spikes up. I'm talking about in close proximity with each other. 1 month it might be this high. The next month it might be that low. So there's a lot going on right now to where you're just going to have to utilize common sense in order to know what the heck is going on. You're going to have to utilize what you see and not what they tell you. Because let's face it, a lot of you are smart, especially if you're right here on Cryptic AI. You got to be smart. So won't y'all tell me below what your prediction is when it comes to a recession, how long it'll last? Are we even in a recession right now? And I think that it is due to the uncertainty in Bitcoin right now, there are going to be a lot of people selling off. Let's ask about the promise. Let's try to, because the AI can't tell us if the Bitcoin is going to be at $1 million by 2026. It can't tell us that. So we're going to have to utilize and ask questions that lead up to the answer, that lead up to us even being able to have an edge in the game when it comes to these Bitcoin prices spiking up, to when it comes to you investing. So let's get it. Let's ask, what other countries are in talks of adopting Bitcoin as their main currency?
Currently, El Salvador and the Central African Republic are the only countries to have adopted Bitcoin as legal tender. There are discussions happening in various countries about digital currencies, but no specific announcements about adopting Bitcoin as
I'm
the
gonna just say
main
what I
currency.
predict. I'm gonna say what I predict. I predict that uh, BRICS is going to implement.
That
I think BRICS is going to implement a number of cryptocurrencies that are going to be able to be used internationally. I think that every country that has a relationship partnership with BRICS will be able to throw their version of cryptocurrency into the pot, okay, into the distribution pot. What countries are currently in alliance with BRICS?
BRICS currently consists of 10 countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Indonesia, and the United Arab Emirates. They also have several partner states, including Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Nigeria, Thailand, Uganda, Uzbekistan, and Vietnam. Are you interested in learning more about any of these countries within the context of BRICS?
Out of all of the countries you named, what is the most widely used crypto coin in those countries?
While Bitcoin is widely recognized, Tether seems to be the most widely used cryptocurrency in BRICS countries, particularly for cross border transactions and as a stable store of value. It helps bypass some of this capital controls and sanctions that some of those countries face. Is there anything else you'd like to know about their crypto usage?
Okay, that was very telling. I didn't see that one coming. So Tether coin. Explain Tether coin to us. When was it developed, and what is its niche?
So, Tethercoin was developed in 2014, and its main niche is being what's called a stablecoin. This means that its value is designed to stay pegged to the US dollar, making it a more stable option in the volatile crypto market. People use it to protect their gains without having to convert back to traditional currency. Do you have any questions about that?
So the current price for one Tether coin is $1 or 14 US Chinese cents, or 14 yuans, 0.14 yuan. Or that was the wrong question. I know you're gonna get confused on that. Uh, let's just keep it simple. I'm not gonna dig into that. So Tether's value is currently $1 in comparison to the value of the $1 in the U.S.
Yes, that's the goal with Tether. It's designed to maintain a one-to-one peg with the US dollar, so it's always meant to be worth roughly $1. Is there anything else you'd like to know about how
Roughly
stablecoins work?
$1. Well, what is its exact value right now, currently?
Right now, Tether is valued at 0.99924 US dollars. So it's just under 1 US dollar, but it stays consistently close to that price. Did you have any other questions about Tether?
Hmm. Hmm. Yes. How can we purchase Tether? What platforms is Tether able to be purchased on?
You can buy Tether on several platforms. Popular options include cryptocurrency exchanges like Coinbase, BitPay, and MoonPay. These platforms allow you to purchase Tether using various payment methods such as credit or debit cards, bank transfers, and sometimes even PayPal. Would you like more details on how to sign up and purchase Tether on a specific platform?
Wait, is the United States a part of BRICS?
No, the United States isn't.
So
a part
why
of
then
BRICS.
would BRICS compare their most widely used cryptocurrency to the U.S. dollar? Why not
Well,
gold?
even though BRICS countries. That's a valid question. While gold has historically been used as a standard, there are a few reasons why it's not seen as practical for international trade these days. For instance, the amount of gold available is limited and can fluctuate depending on mining efforts, which could make it hard to keep a stable global market. Also, major economies abandoned the gold standard in the 20th century to allow for more flexible monetary policies. Would you like to know more about why the gold standard was abandoned?
No. Uh,
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
we know that China has the digital yuan. Does any of the other countries involved in BRICS have their own digital currency?
Yes, several other BRICS countries are also working on their own digital currencies. For example, Brazil has the digital real, India is developing the digital rupee, and Russia is testing the digital ruble. These projects are in different stages of development, but they all aim to modernize their financial systems. Are you interested in learning more about any of these digital currencies in particular?
Are they all on a one-to-one basis with their country's current price of their dollar price, dollar value?
It varies. While China's digital yuan is currently being tested and will likely have its own value relative to the yuan, countries like India are looking into a digital rupee that would maintain the same value as their physical currency. It really depends on each country's specific goals and economic strategies. Would you like to know more about how India plans to implement their digital rupee?
No, I would like to learn a little bit more about how China plans to make the digital yuan more valuable than the actual physical yuan.
Actually, China's digital yuan isn't designed to be more valuable than the physical yuan. They're the same currency, just in a different form. Think of it like having money in your bank account versus carrying cash. They have the same value, but you can use the digital one in more situations. Would you like to know more about how China plans to use the digital yuan?
No. What I'd like to know, this is one of the last questions. What will since all of these BRICS, since all the partners in BRICS have an alliance, do they plan on allowing their currencies to be spent in each other's countries? For instance, the Russian ruble, will it be able to be spent in China? Will the Chinese yuan be able to be spent in India?
While BRICS countries are definitely exploring ways to use their local currencies for trade between themselves, allowing them to be spent freely in each other's countries is a complex issue and still in the works. There are a lot of factors to consider, like different economic systems and regulations. Would you like to know more about what BRICS countries are doing to facilitate local currency trade?
No. All right, so there you have it. There you have it. So Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. That's crazy because the Tether coin is the most widely used coin in these BRICS nations, while Bitcoin is the most valuable coin. It's not the most widely used coin, but it is the most valuable coin. What does that mean for the future of Bitcoin? what does that mean for the future of Bitcoin? We see Bitcoin ATMs in the stores. Bitcoin definitely has a promising future. I want to say this. Just as Tesla has the most cars, electric vehicles on the road, well, I think there was a Chinese company that passed Tesla's sales, but over there in the UK. But when you look out here in the United States, it's Teslas that dominate the road as far as EVs go. And again, as I said in another episode, Tesla has the minds of the masses because they grasp the minds of the children. And so just as my favorite car when I was a kid was a 1968 Chevy Ford Mustang, I still to this day want that car, you know? And a Mustang, period, would have sufficed for it. So Ford won the minds of, Ford won my mind, which made me want to invest in it in the future, right? By getting one of those vehicles. But what I'm saying is that Bitcoin has all of these, has the minds of the vast majority of this economy. And Tesla, with them having the most vehicles on the road, so I want to compare it to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, with Tesla having the most vehicles in the road, we want to take into account like cash machines, vending ATMs. Bitcoin has the most ATMs in stores right now. Bitcoin has the most you can go purchase Bitcoin with these machines. You can't walk into a store and purchase Ethereum with a machine. You can't walk into a store and purchase Tether with a machine. Not here in the United States that I've seen. You walk into Walmart, you walk into these gas stations, 7-Eleven, you see these Bitcoin exchange machines. You don't see any other cryptocurrency exchange machines. And so that right there, the fact that they have already invested in infrastructure, okay, placing themselves in a vital spot when it comes to businesses, when it comes to the money market, Bitcoin has one of the most promising futures out of all the coins.
Starring actors such as Omar
So,
Epps, Richard T. Jones.
So, like I said, we don't want to too much utilize what they say is going to happen. We want to take and do our own research and utilize common sense and utilize our own discernment to know what is going to happen. Because let's face it, what they said is going to happen has already failed. What they said was a normal cycle for Bitcoin has already went off derailed. It's already derailed. And so it is time for you to do your own due diligence and research. I just watched the good brothers over there from Earn Your Leisure, where Ian was talking about Bitcoin, the lowest price that Bitcoin, he said Bitcoin would never fail, just like Vladimir Putin said. But he said the lowest price during a recession that Bitcoin would go to is about 49 and 50,000. He either said that or 39 or 40,000. Either way, that's a damn low price. That is a low price. Will the people who are heavily invested in Bitcoin, who invested at $50,000, who invested at $80,000, I'm talking about millions or thousands, will they be able to hold through that fall? Will the recession even allow them to hold through that fall? Will they have expenses that will force them to sell? It's time for you to get, your own mindset, develop your own mindset when it comes to this stuff, man. Everybody trust yourself, man. That's what I say right now in these times. Trust yourself. Trust yourself, man. But I want to thank y'all for coming out to another episode of Cryptic AI, where we talk about the most relevant topics when it comes to cryptocurrencies and finances. I want to thank y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. You're yeah. I got hella motion. I be in her ocean. I be really coasting. I be really boasting. I be big time